let's get to the Kaldheim draft. So, I am doing the quick draft so that I have absolute full time to stop and talk and consider things. It has been a while since I've done drafts, but I just recently did 3 over in Zendikar, and this is now a new, and Kaldheim is a completely new format. And as a completely new format, there's different cards I need to look out for, different things I need to consider. Like, for example, in Zendikar, if I had a 5/4, it was probably the biggest creature in the game. In this one, there's a 7 mana 7/6, there's a 6 mana 6/6, there's big ol' freaking creatures in this format. Plus there's snow lands, so there's a balance. You need to make sure if you gain snow cards, you grab some snow lands in your draft. There's a lot of things to consider here. So we're going to get into it and just slowly figure it out. Alright, so once again, the rule is bread. Bombs, rares, or bomb, removal, efficient, aggro, and then dredge, which is just, you don't know, dredge is the cards you kind of need. I always start by looking at your rare, then your uncommons, because those are the hardest to find, and then you work your way down to the other cards. So, Bears of Littjara. So, basically, it creates a 2/2. If they don't remove the 2/2, it immediately becomes a 4/4, and then you choose a creature or planeswalker and deals 4 damage. So, it's a good body that becomes a removal, as long as it is not removed. I think that's amazing limited. I think this is a bomb. It is a body and a removal. That being said, it is very color-centric. You need both green and blue. From there, there's Spear of Adelgard, which is efficient. It is, if I get a bunch of snow-covered lands, the Spear of Adelgard becomes a body that also gets you a land, so it basically card draws. Colossal Plow, it doesn't really work because the crew 6 is too much. Great Hall of Starnheim, keep in mind you have to sacrifice the land and the creature you control. And you can only do this as a sorcery. So the limitations there end up being generally too great. And if I'm playing this, it's because it's a black land, and then later on it becomes something else. So basically, I'm looking at Bears of Littjara, Spear of the Adelgard, and Feed the Servant, because it's just straight removal. It's the R in bread. So I'm just thinking, I'm going to grab the rare for now. I'm not sure, I'm not going to guarantee I'm in blue-green, but at the very least, this pushes me there. It says if I end up being blue-green, this is great. Oh, by the way, an additional removal. Oh man, it's going to be hard, because I have 2 removal options in 2 different colors. I'm sticking with Bears of Littjara, but I could definitely end up not in blue-green. Alright. Reflections of Littjara. Looks like we're a Littjara tribal. Alright. You choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of a chosen type, copy that spell. So, this card, I play on turn 5, it does nothing. Then turn 6, I often win the game. If I have a deck that can support it. I already have Bears of Littjara. I'm not against the Reflections of Littjara. Otherwise, we have a board clear. This could be a very efficient removal. This is a removal. Like, there's a lot of removal, so it's hard to make this decision. But I think that, again, this is the rare. We already have focus in blue-green. I'm picking it, but again, I might end up not playing it, but really cool to have. Oh my gosh. Alright. So, if we're in blue-green, here... So this card is just a 4-mana 3/3, so kind of bad body. It scries 3, and when it dies, I have to... If it dies from a board clear, I get something. Otherwise, it's just... Yeah, I don't like this card. It's very situational. If the situation occurs, it is very efficient, but otherwise it's dredge. If we stick to your colors, Rune Crown is great. All you need is a single rune for it to be amazing. But we have 2 other things. So both Bears of Littjara and Reflections of Littjara push me to pick a Guardian Gladewalker, which is also a 2-drop, so it's aggro. It fits the A in aggro. But this is the R for removal. You put +1/+1 counter on a creature, and then it fights, and I can foretell it. This is also removal, so I think green is... I think green is pretty good here. The question is, yeah, do I pick the Guardian Gladewalker because it already synergizes with both of the themes I have? Or do I pick the Struggle for Skemfar because removal is hard to come by? Removal is hard to come by. That's my solution. Alright. Glimpse of the Cosmos. So if this keep in mind, if you could get a single giant out, this basically is 2 mana. This becomes 3 mana, draw 2 cards. It becomes a divination with searching to find the right card for you. This is another rune crown. This is another removal. We've already shown that we'd rather have a removal than a rune crown. This, at the very end, keep in mind, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand doesn't actually remove everything. It's kind of a tempo play for a 6 mana card. So really the removal is putting the permanent on top or bottom of their library. And it's a 6 mana removal. Meanwhile, we have a 4 mana removal right here. So then from here, we already know we're I don't know if we're blue and green, but we're at least blue or green. So I'm going to try to think, do we want Rune Crown? Do we want Glimpse of the Cosmos? If we want Glimpse, we're going to need to find more giants. We don't know what creatures we are yet. The good thing about Struggle for Skemfar is it doesn't force elves. It's any creature. So I think we're going to go with another Struggle for Skemfar, but Glimpse of the Cosmos should not be ignored. Alright. Withered Stone, non-land permanents. This just stops fiends that don't happen in Limited. Alright. So then here, hey, we have a 2 mana 2/2 that synergizes with absolutely everything we have right now. I think that's the play. Alright. Because yeah, if we could go like a Guardian Gladewalker into a Bears of Littjara, I mean, keep in mind, this any number of target shapeshifters. So this 1/1 with a +1/+1 counter becomes a 4/4 with a +1/+1 counter. So yeah. And guess what? We get another one. We get another one. We're going to have a pretty good close to the ground deck that then just becomes big and scary. So then the question is just, what is our other color? What is our other type? Because Reflections of Littjara asks us to choose a creature type. I don't think we're choosing worms, but this is a freaking 6 mana 6/6. This is just a 5 mana 5/5. That's a good body. Invasion of the Giants. So this card, you scry 2, then draw a card, and then next... Honestly, this is just scry 2, draw a card. A lot of the other effects, you need to... Extrium. Hey, how's it going? I'm trying to figure out what's good right now. How about you, man? I'm doing good. This might be a short stream today because I just have a limited things I need to do. So, I know this sounds weird. I might pick the Rune of Mortality because, and so here's why I'm picking the Rune of Mortality. We did pass 2 Rune Crowns. Should we get a Rune Crown? The Rune Crown can pull this out of our deck, so we never need to play it. It draws us a card when it does, and then we have a 2/2 Death Touch Crown. Like, that could be a reason to pick Rune of Mortality. Another thing is I could just pick the Grizzled Outrider. It's a pretty easy 5 mana 5/5. Yeah, so the question is, do I want the runes so bad? I don't think, because we did not pick either of the Runed Crowns, and we don't know if they boarded through, I think we have to pick the Rune Crown before we pick the Rune of Mortality. So I think I'm just going to pick the 5/5 or the 6/6. With Reflections of Littjara, I think we go with the 5/5 because Elf is a more common type for us to run into. And then just like a 5/5, like, I could do a 6/6 on turn 6 to blow them out, or I can do Reflections of Littjara turn 5 into turn 6 2 5/5s to blow them out. You did a new subclass. I'm just finishing up writing down some criticisms for school contests. Oh, wow. Wow, you're really doing some real stuff, man. Good for you. So what's the subclass about? While you talk about that, I'm going to continue with my draft. So, Scorn Effigy. Basically, it's just a 3 mana 2/3. Sometimes you can foretell it and play with another 3-drop. You don't know a thing about Magic, that's perfectly okay. You just feel free to keep commenting about Dungeons & Dragons. I'll talk about Dungeons & Dragons while explaining to the rest of the chat about Magic. So, we seem to be in blue-green, and I want to keep forcing that because there's nothing so good that we want to pull out and add a third color. Not yet. So the question is, the Disdainful Stroke, which is a good counterspell, or do we want to do Scorn Effigy as just another early game? I think the Disdainful Stroke is basically removal. Yeah. But yeah, what's the subclass that you built for your Dungeons & Dragons? Like, is it... it's a mix of Barbarian and Artificer. With you being, I'm mad because I'm actually an Artificer. That's pretty funny. The Path of the Engineer. So it's a engineering path barbarian where I'm assuming he, like, when you rage, you can use different objects as weapons instead of just your weapon. Like, you can craft your weapons effectively. That's what I'm guessing that thing has to do. Alright, so let's see. So this, you mill 3 cards, then return a land or an elf from your graveyard to your hand. So this just cycle, it's a 2-mana cycle itself. I'd rather put, because here's the thing. This only, like, I would need a really good land or a really good elf to justify playing Roots of Wisdom. Because if I don't have, like, a specific elf or land I'm trying to grab with this, then it's just 2-mana cycle itself. Which, why don't you just play cards that are worth playing instead of a card that's become something else? That being said, nothing here really speaks to me. Colossal Plow, you need to crew for 6, and then when you do, it dies because it has 3 health and gains you 3 mana of the wrong color. Colossal Plow I do not like. Even if I have the big butted ox. So in case you're wondering, there's an ox in this format that is basically a 2-mana 0/6 that's made to crew the Colossal Plow. But I don't really like that. I explained the issue with Great Hall of Starnheim, but like another issue is that it's black and white. We already know that at least one of our 2 colors is blue or green. Alright. So, Carfell Kennelmaster is great if we're aggressive. This could be a great aggressive top end, so if we end up Sultai colors. Since we don't have any blue or green, let's consider if we're multiple colors. Well, we have 1 green, but it's not worth it. So, is the Zombie Berserker, is this... Yeah, this is a blowout. So I'm going to put this in my sideboard, but it might be useful. Alright. So of the options here, Colossal Plow, by the fact that Colossal Plow is still here, you can tell that there's issues with the card. Crush the Weak, in case we end up needing to go red. This is a way to deal with board clears. I think I'd rather go Coma's Faithful, lean into the Reflections getting elves. Either that or Undersea Invader. So this is I leave 6 mana up and untapped, and then I could just surprise play a 5/6 into play, which, I mean, beats out the Grizzled Outrider. Wither Crown, so in case you're wondering, I watch other people play this format to try to get a sense of what's going on. What's going on is, people are getting +1/+1 counters. People are gaining +1/+1 counters. Wither Crown doesn't do much if they have if they put +1/+1 counters on. So this card ends up being bad. So my only question is, do we just start committing to black being our other color and grab the Coma's Faithful? I don't think we're that deep yet. Let's grab an Undersea Invader. Big old 6-mana 5/6. Yeah, Reflections of Littjara might end up being the card we throw into the sideboard. Might not be good enough, which is strange. Yeah, Zombie Rogue. So it's just a 3-mana 3/2. Its ability only really helps if you're like winning and winning by a lot. Drugger Recruiter is actually pretty good. It's a 4-mana. So if this card is bad, it's an 8-mana reanimation. Which, yes, that sounds bad. But I mean, it's an 8-mana reanimation, and like you're gonna have bigger, scarier cards to reanimate with it. So that's not bad if I want to try to drop in black as my secondary color. Broken Wings, though, so in this format there are a ton of flying creatures. So there is definitely space for a Broken Wings to come into play as a removal. I'll grab 1 Broken Wings. I might not pick any other Broken Wings, but I'll grab 1 here. Alright. Unplayable because it's 2 colors that we know. If we're not blue and green, we're at least one of the 2 colors. Alright, this is Rage, which is great if you're finishing off someone. I don't think we're finishing people off. I think we're controlling them out for the most part. This card's just bad. Yeah, I mean, you get +1/+1 to your creatures. You need a ton of creatures for that to be useful. Or you had 2 mana of 2 mana of any one color and 2 mana, or just +1 mana, but -1 card, which is not a worthwhile trade. So we're picking Coma's Faithful, and we're dragging it into the sideboard in case we end up being an elf deck with Reflections of Littjara. Which that could be our option. We might be an elf deck that then splashes blue for Reflections of Littjara. That would mean we drop the Undersea Invader. Alright. Giant creature gets +2/+2, reach, and every creature type. Let's see. I'm wondering if Arachnoform is even good. It does give reach. And it does, if we get it on the turn we get the Bears of Littjara, we could churn... I mean, we don't have many small creatures other than the Guardian Gladewalkers. This thing, though, we're not... If we splash in red, this is a great finisher. You know what? We're going to drag that into our sideboard. We're going to figure out if we're blue, red, splash in green, or green, black, splash in blue. But I think that's our two paths. And we just got to figure out which one we are. Which means we are not white. Let's drop the Skull Ray to the sideboard. And this Elf Berserker into the sideboard. Alright. Magda, Brazen Outlaw. Works with dwarves. And it does give us treasures. Treasures can help us play our green cards. Let's look at the others. So, Dual Strike. My god, this is just a deep red top end. White, we don't really... I don't think we're splashing in white. Behold the Multiverse, though. I think it's going to end up being Behold the Multiverse so far, just looking through these cards so far. Because I'm not sure about Magda. You need a lot of dwarves for this to be useful. You can search your library for an artifact or dragon card. If you have a really big shapeshifter, that can be treated as a dragon, but I don't think there are very big shapeshifters. So, and then also you need 5 treasure tokens. So the treasure tokens are just going to be money. This guy is just a 2-mana 2/1 that creates treasures. That's all Magda's going to be. Sometimes it makes our Gladewalkers get +1 attack. But I don't think this card is actually good for the deck we're building. So then we just have to consider what the other things are. Which, one is Behold the Multiverse, which is great card draw. One is Disdainful Stroke. I don't think we need too many Disdainful Strokes. We don't want them clogging up our hand. Pilfering Hawk, which needs snow mana, and so far we have 0 snow mana. Death Knell Berserker, which would help us if we're moving into black-green with a splash of blue. I'm going to grab the Behold the Multiverse for now. But yeah, this is definitely one of the options. Tyrite Sanctum, you need a legendary creature for this to do anything. It does not make creatures legendary. And we have 0. We passed 1 up because we couldn't really use it. Zvela Ice Shaper. Could work if we are splashing in, if we're doing blue-red splash in green. Gets us a lot of snowlands. Not sure how important that is. Just kind of looking around, seeing if there's anything. Highland Forest could help with our splashing. Well, hey look, there's removal. Green removal. That would be our 3rd struggle, which makes us a really strong in green, which makes me think we want to go green, black, splash, and blue. So I think Struggle for Skemfar is definitely the pick. And given that we have all these black cards already, and we haven't seen anything in red that is so severe to push us to red other than that Cinderheart Giants, I think we are giving up on splashing in red, and we focus on green, maybe black splash in blue, maybe blue splash in black. But I think green is going to be a color that we keep solid, which if you know from watching my other streams, you know I'm pretty biased for green, so this is kind of an issue I need to figure out. But yeah, this is removal. This is removal. Like, alright. So, I'm wondering if this isn't as good as I think it is, because this will be my 4th struggle for Skemfar. Like, how is no one picking this? Alright, so we have a Rune of Speed. We don't have any runes, it turns out. This is a pretty good card if we were white. If we were white aggro, this would be pretty good. So, Bind the Monster, taps creature. So, this is basically removal? It's cheap, it taps a creature, and they don't untap, but you do take some damage for it. It costs health instead of mana, which is really good, but it's a little weird. Let's see. Target creature gets -1/-2 and Zella have turn. This is a don't think of this as a creature. It's a combat trick that leaves behind a body. This just seems bad. So this only works if you're being really aggressive, or if you're trying to save your own card. But then it's a card for a card no matter what. It's a card to save a card, even in the best case scenario. So if you're not tempoing, Depart the Realm isn't very good. Elderleaf Mentor. We do need more bodies. Like, here, let's just... Creatures, 4. Non-creatures, 8. Now, albeit, this is actually a creature, even though it says this is a non-creature. but we're going to start gain bodies. But before we get the bodies, let's get our 4th removal, I think. But yeah, I think we grab this 4th removal. And notice that these keep making our bodies bigger, so they're even better removal. And now I think we just start focusing on bodies. Augury Raven is really good. So what's this? Return up to 2 target snow permanent cards from your graveyard. Okay, so I would need to find snow. It reanimates later. And yeah, this does not work in limited. Not very well unless you have a lot of snow permanents. You need a lot of snow permanents for this to work. So I think Augury Raven, this is a flying creature. It's a big flying creature. So yeah, and we need more creatures right now. Raven form is a pretty cool removal, but we need more creatures right now. 4 of our removal is all based on us having creatures. So let's get a big ol' flying Raven that I could then make bigger with Foretell counters. And yeah, beat some faces in. Alright. Blizzard Brawl. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Then if I manage to somehow find enough snow permanents, my creature gains +1/+0 and gains indestructible. So this is another removal, and it's a really good removal if you have snow cards. Alright, so now that I see Squash, there is value in trying to jump in the red. Bring in the red instead of the black. But I think removal is solved. These Struggle for Skemfars work very well with Death Knell Berserkers. So let's pull these in and look at our deck right now. So right now the Undersea Invader is the card that is too expensive because it costs 2 blue. And looking at this deck, we have a pretty good mix. We have 7 creatures, which were gained better. We have 4 struggles. Death Knell Berserker works great with Struggle for Skemfar. Reflections gets to name elves, which gives me Grizzled Outriders, Death Knell Berserkers, Guardian Gladewalkers, Coma's Faithfuls. Like, it does not give me Augury Ravens and does not give me Carfell Kennel Masters. But I think those cards are both good enough that they don't need to work with Reflections of Littjara to work. Alright. This is also pretty good. It taps down creatures and usually is a big bombing threat in the end. But I think right now, if they play big bombing threats, we just kind of kill them. And we need more early game so that we don't get killed. Yep. Alright. Grizzled Outrider. Dread Rider. So Dread Rider is a good, like, finisher card, in the end. I think, yeah. So if this was green-black, I would pick this without a second thought here, because there's no removal. Run Ashore is kind of removal. Alright. Just finished running all I had to. I'm going to sleep before my brain collapses. Have a good one. Thank you, Extrium. You have a good one as well. Alright. So yeah, a lot of red, though. A lot saying that, hey, red is open, you idiot. You didn't take red. But I think... So here's the question. We either grab the Grizzled Outrider. I don't think the Mammoth Growth. This is a combat trick removal, which means they have to block first, and then they have to not have a combat trick of their own. It's not even, like, the best combat trick. So I'd rather have either Run Ashore or Grizzled Outrider. So the question is, do we want a Run Ashore in this deck? I'm going to go with a Grizzled Outrider for now. Run Ashore might not be bad, but I think we'll get others. We'll also get other Grizzled Outriders. But I'd rather only have 1 Run Ashore and 2 Grizzled Outriders. Let's go with that. So, that's my reasoning. Alright, blue-white. A lot of white, a lot of red. So we picked the 2 colors that were taken. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand, the rest of your graveyard. So this is... Ooh, it goes in your graveyard. There are some effects that care about your graveyard. So that could actually be useful. Other than that, like... This isn't really a removal, because with Struggle for Skemfar, there are creatures bigger than 3. So this is a tiny creature removal. And it might not even work, because they still have their big butts to get in the way. These cards are not playable because of our colors. This would be cool if we could somehow splash in white, but I think it's just way too late to be splashing in a 4th color. So, we'll drag this strategic planning. We need more creatures. Okay, so I'm going to sideboard the land in case we end up wanting to do snow stuff. In case we want to do snow stuff, we have some ways to get there. Icebind Pillar is a snow theme that would be pretty awesome. So then it's the question of Inga Rune Eyes. Is it finally time? Do we actually have a means to play Inga Rune Eyes? So I could struggle for Skemfar, kill something with Inga, and then try to trade to get that draw 3 effect. Raven form's also pretty nice. Yeah, the problem is right now we don't have enough creatures. And trying to go for a Karfell Kennelmaster, we only need 1, and we need more creatures at the early game, not in the late game. So, another Undersea Invader. Go name Giants instead. Oh, this is a zombie. I thought this was a giant for some reason. Alright. I'll pick the Raven form for now. It's more removal. I mean, more removal is good, but we need other things, you know? Alright. Dogged Pursuit, Death Knell, Berserker. Okay, so I think it's the Death Knell Berserker. Just because it's an additional 2-drop, we only have 4 of those right now. And, like, we want as many of those as possible. And, like, all of these. The 2 Guardian Gladewalkers work amazing with Bears of Littjara and whatever we end up doing with Reflections. And all the Death Knells work great with Struggle for Skemfar. So, I think we go with the Death Knell. That being said, Dual Strike is actually pretty cool, because we can copy and get, like, 2 Struggles in 1 turn, or 2 Behold the Multiverses, or something like that. Or 2 Skull Raids, like... I'm not underestimating Dual Strike. Oh, wait. We can't Splash in Red. That was just the idea. Never mind. But Death Knell Berserker. Death Knell Berserker. We need the 2 drops. Alright. Annual. Counter-target artifact or enchantment spell versus Gold Vein Pick. Alright. So Gold Vein Pick, I will say I like having 1 or 2 equipment. Something that just sits around and says, I hit your stuff. I don't like Annual because it's very specific. There will be decks that don't run any artifacts or enchantments. They have to get their lore. When it hits hard because we have sagas in this set. But when it doesn't hit, it does not hit, and that's an issue. I'll grab the Gold Vein Pick for now. Yeah. Alright. Rune, Bind Barrow. Alright. I'm going to drag this rune in case we end up getting one of those crowns, because nothing here is anything we're going to play. Alright. Sure, we'll sideboard the Strategic Planning. Draugr Thought Thief. You know what? We're going to drag this over in case we just need more creatures. It is a creature, nonetheless. Run ashore. As I said, we get it late, because if we want them, we only want 1. Alright. Let's see. Skemfar Avenger. Whenever another elf... Hey! Looks like splashing in black was a good idea. And it looks like elf is going to be our theme. So, elf or berserker... Oh my god, though. Removal plus forest plus combat trick. Oh my god. Card draw or combat trick? Oh man. Oh man. This is actually a tough one. I think these both are bombs. I think these both are bomb, like, windmill slam, you win, sort of things. Anything else good? We might get the Sculptor of Winter when it rotates back. We might get a Glimmering Frost. But it's the question of just, do we pick the Skemfar Adventure? Or do we pick the Binding of the Old Gods? Let's look at our curve right now. Yeah, our turn 4, we have 4 Struggle for Skemfars, guys. We have 4 Struggle for Skemfars. We have 10 creatures. Yeah, we need more creatures. And this is a way to get card draw as well. And all these creatures are elves. All the early creatures are elves. Even this one's an elf. The only one that's non-elf is Augury Raven. So yeah, I think it's Skemfar Adventure. But that Binding of the Old Gods, if somehow it comes back around, we're picking it without asking another question. But there's no way it's coming back around. Rise of the Dread Marn. So, this can be good if you know the board is about to get blown apart, blown to pieces. Which means, like, this is good if the board gets blown to pieces, which is a really weird situation. It puts you ahead if you're starting to fall behind. I'm not sure about that, you know? Trickster God's Heist. So let's see, we are in the colors where we could play it. Joker player loses 3 life, you gain 3 life, gain control of 2. So, I know this sounds absurd. I think this is the play. I think we grab the tap land because it's 2 colors that we use. We are 3-color deck. This is 2 colors we use. I think we pick this. Rise of the Dreadmarn it's too situational, I think. I think it's just too situational right now. Yeah, and we need more consistency in getting all these colors. Like, that gold vein pick is very important because it's giving us treasure. So if we, like, don't have any black, we could just suddenly tap it to allow us to play a Coma's Faithful. Or something like that. Oof. Right? So all the top-end cards are of the colors I don't have. Scorn Effigy. I mean, this is a creature. We only have 11 creatures. So yeah, we are going to need more creatures. Is Funeral Longboat considered a creature for this sort of deck? I do not know. I do not know. I mean, the question is, do I ever play Foretell Scorn Effigy and I'm happy about it? Priest of the Haunted Edge? I mean, it's no attack. I have one Snowland right now. So it's like either I'd have to pick the Snow Forest or... Yeah, I'm going to pick the Snow Forest and just allow us to start picking cards like that if I run into them, I think. Either that or it's the Scorn Effigy. Just say, I need to guarantee more creatures. Alright. Yeah. One of the big themes is just right now we have good removal if we can get creatures to stick, but what we don't have is creatures that stick. This might have to go because it's too much win more, or this must go. Because of the way our early game is looking, it looks like we actually splash in blue, not black. In which case, we need more ways to get that blue in. I think we definitely take either an artifact or the snow-covered forest. I think these are our 4 options. I don't know how we balance it out, though. So this helps me for later. 11 creatures, man. It's been a long time since I had a deck with so few creatures. I mean, if I don't have many creatures, Funeral Longboat doesn't become a creature. So, Scorn Effigy, Snow-Covered Forest, or Gold Vein Pick. I think it has to be Scorn Effigy, just as a creature. I mean, what? But then again, what does a 2-3 even do on the board? It just sits there. I mean, it struggles. It gives me a struggle target. Little struggle sesh. Doesn't reflect. No way it reflects. But it's a body. I don't think we're going to go... even if we got snow cards, we don't have enough snow-covered lands for that to work out. Alright. Let's keep going. Raise the Draugr. A nice reanimation. Alright, so the question is just, which of these 2 reanimations do I want? Do I want the 4-drop? That if it attacks, could possibly reanimate more than 1? Or just reanimate 2 as instant speed? So we have a Disdainful Stroke, which actually... We have Disdainful Stroke and Behold the Multiverse, which both encourage Rise of the Draugr. Which then... We'd name Elves, we could get a Grizzled Outrider, and an early game buffer like Skemfar Avenger. Yeah. I think we go with Rise of the Draugr. That being said, do not underestimate Draugr Recruiter. It could be another zombie for Carful Kennelmaster. That being said, I think Carfell might actually be one of the cards that gets kicked. This could reanimate a lot, but here's the thing. This is a huge mana sink. So the question is, do we have the mana to sink into it? Like, are we going to end up with no cards in hand? And when we do we have no other ways to sink mana? Because that's what I'm really considering when I'm looking at these boast abilities. Yeah, this is tough. This is tough. It's either Draugr Recruiter or it's Raise the Draugr. So this could return 2 elves. Fights for Struggle for Skemfar. Oof. Tough. Real tough. This involves... Okay, so here's what I found. This involves my creatures dying first to be playable. This could just be played on a board when I have no creatures in my graveyard. That's what I think is going to happen a lot more in draft. So I'm going to go with Draugr Recruiter. Sorry. Alright. Pilfering Hawk, we only have 1 Snowland. Notvold Recluse is a creature. Dusk Wielder is a creature, but I don't think it's... You need Boast synergy for that to be good. So I think we go with the Notvold because it's a creature. And it's a big big hitter for, at least with struggle, I could start smacking things around. Spirit of the Aldegard with 1 snowland, so it's a 1/4. This would be good if we could play it, you know? Vega the Watcher would be good if we had white. This is a 3-mana 2/3. This is a 2-mana 3/3. This is another Draugr Recruiter. Alright. Demonic Gifts. This allows us to save a creature. Okay, I'm going to look at my deck because I think we might be done. So we're going to need 17 lands, so we play 13 other cards, or 23 other cards, which means 6 of these need to go. Alright. Carful Killmaster, I think, is a little too top end, which... Alright, so creatures, non-creatures. This is a bit more down the path I want to go between the two. Alright, halfway point. Scorn Effigy, bad creature. 13/13, so we have to start dropping non-creatures. Alright. Run Ashore, is that too expensive? Yeah, we have Draugr Recruiters, we have other things to spend our mana on. I know Raven Form is not the best removal. It is still removal. Broken Rings is a bit more situational. Gold Vein Pick. And let's just say this Saneful Stroke does not hit often enough. And with that, we get our deck. We do not get multiple Draugr Recruiters, we do not get multiple Augury Ravens, but we get multiple of everything else with Reflections of Littjara. So let's just imagine this is our deck. We have 6 2-drops, so we have pretty good early game. Into a really good 4 3-drops, so a little light there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A lot of 4-drops. That basically say once we have tempo, we win. And then some 5-drop finishers. Alright. I like that. Alright, so what we need is 3-drops from looking at this. We do not have any 3... I mean, this, but he's red. We can't splash in another color. We already took out that 1/1 Run Ashore. We can't put in another one. We'll grab the Dusk Wielder in case we really want to go fast. Finn the Fanebearer. We have no poison creatures, so it's just a 2-mana 1/3 with Death Touch. No way it's finishing the job. Yeah, nothing else has Death Touch, right? Oh my god, I can make it fight! I could make it fight! Okay. What the... There we are. Dread Rider is a kind of endgame. I'm going to pick Finn right now. Another Death Knell Berserker. I think Death Knell Berserker is the weakest of our 2-drops, but it is another 2-drop. And yeah, we don't need the snow-covered swamps. We don't need snow-covered lands for anything right now. Yeah, there's nothing in our sideboard that cares about snow. So... grab that Death Knell. Another Disdainful Stroke in case we end up wanting that. Sure, let's just grab another one, Run Ashore. Alright, so we're not playing any of these cards. This is an uncommon. Help it for my set. You did it again? You beat Hades again? Dude, nice. Nice. Alright. We are good at early drops. We have 4, 5, 6. That's enough. We have 8 early drops. That's more than good enough. Alright. So here's a late drop in case we need it. Here's a Funeral Longboat in case we need that. Sword this time. Awesome. And here's a little intruder. Alright. Let's figure out our deck. 4, 6, 6. That's how it wants to do this. We don't have any early... And by removing the Disdainful Strokes, we can wait until later to get our blue. Which is actually probably for the best. I think that is for the best. Because we have black and green early game. And then we get blue. So we're splashing in blue effectively. I like that. I like that. We are 1, 2, 3... Okay, hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 blue cards. Albeit, they're pretty darn good. But it's only 5 blue cards. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 because we already have one there. So we could remove blue if we thought that was valuable to us. But I honestly think, like, you know, having a Raven form sitting in Foretell, yeah, I think having these cards sitting in Foretell and this card at the very end is perfectly fine. Bears of Littjara, we're going to need to get the blue there. We have a Rimewood Falls to help with that. I think I like this. We just need to figure out what one card we remove. So we have 15 creatures, 9 non-creatures. So we gotta remove one creature. So it's a question of how top end. Do we need 2 Draugr Recruiters, basically? Or do we need a not Vold Recluse? So yeah, we have a bunch of struggles for Skemfars to act as our solution to flying creatures. Like, we have 4 removal right there. Or we could just remove the Skull Raid. No. Discard is pretty darn punishing in this format. I mean, 3/1 lifelink, and it is of the colors. Yeah, I think, unfortunately, our turn 3 is just playing another 2-drop. I think that's going to happen quite often. Which means we can't drop any of our 3-drops now that I think about it like that. Yeah, I'm going to drop 1 Draugr Recruiter. 1. So we still have the other one for value, but I think value is not the issue. We are kind of the tempo deck. This really describes our deck because that's our fight. That's our hit hard button. Our non-elves are Finn, not Vold Recluse, Augury Raven, and Draugr Recruiter. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we subtract 4. There are 10 elves in this deck for reflections, so I think that's good. Reflective elves. Really interesting deck. I am not sure about this, but hey, we have removal. We do have 3 colors. That is a little weird. That is a little weird. Huh. Alright. I am going to take a quick break, and I am going to come back and start playing the games when I come back. I just need to use the restroom and stuff. I'll be back. Just hold on a sec. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Look at this deck. Like, think about this deck. We might have a problem of not having enough top end, but hopefully the Reflections solves that issue. And, I mean, we'll figure that out. If we don't have enough top end, we grab a Karfell Kennelmaster, or we just grab Duskwielder and go... We have 2 solutions. We grab Duskwielder and go aggro, or we grab Karfell and we go control. We grab these 2 and go control. You even have another removal right there. Alright, let's try it out. Whew. Alright, deep breath, new format. Time to figure out what this format is all about. Whew. Man, Bears of Littjara, if I can pull that off, it will be an absolute blowout. It's a 3-mana 4/4 that removes. Like, that seems awesome. That seems like it's going to be a blowout when it works. Alright, Shades. Oh yeah, I'm silver. Nice. Death Knell Berserker. I get Foretell the Behold the Multiverse. I have the Reflections What the Time Comes. I just need green. Green is the most common land source in my deck. And I have a Behold. Like, that's the theme. If something goes wrong, I just Behold the Multiverse and try to solve the problem by scrying through it. I might have to on turn 4, I might need to, yeah, immediately use it, but yeah, so next turn I'm probably just going to play an island, Foretell, Behold, and have nothing else to do. Alright. He probably is more than happy to trade. Yeah, I'm going to get more value with struggles late than he is. So I'm going to not attack for now. Because, yeah, if I attack, he blocks. I'm actually the one at a loss there. The struggle for Skemfar with Death Knell Berserker just has too much value. Alright. No blocks for now. We will struggle with that guy first. Alright, so we Behold the Multiverse. There's a forest. I only need one of them. Well, it's a good thing I threw one of them back. I think we hide the fact that we're green. No, wait, no. Next turn, so I'm going to Foretell, then I want to play the Not Vold with it. So I'm going to Foretell this struggle for Skemfar. Good attack for 2. And the next turn, I play a forest, struggle for Skemfar, killing the 2-1. Then I Not Vold Recluse, gain myself a 2-4. I recognize he is the aggressive deck, so I need to start controlling him out, but for now we'll be good. He has not the only 2-man, unless he gets specifically Frostbite, I am okay. Alright, let's try it. There we are, got the kill. And should this thing die, I now have a 2-1. Alright, so here's the question. Do I want to play Not Vold or Guardian Gladewalker? Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the Guardian Gladewalker, putting a +1/+1 counter on itself. This way I can Foretell the struggle for Skemfar. Now I can attack with this 3-1. And I'm okay trading my 2-2 for a 3-2. This is a good position to be in despite the low health. We are effectively equivalent on cards. He has a lot of mana, though. He has a lot of mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hagri Mob. Alright. I am okay with this trade. Alright. So I could Reflections of Littjara. Naming Elves, and then struggle, killing this and getting a Zombie Berserker. Or I could just Not Vold Recluse. I'm going to do this while I still can. And this is sorcery speed, so we just want to make this trade before Hagri Mob gets out of hand, because Hagri Mob can get out of hand. And we are tapped out. So now we just need to draw an elf. Every elf is reflected, which should put us in a better position. He does have a lot of land, so if he has big, scary beaters like the Ravenous Lindworm, we are in trouble. Alright. So we're going to play that. And so here's the theme. We're going to get 2. We're going to turn this Not Vold Recluse into a 6-4, so that I can block the Lindworm. Alright, there we are. So we can block the Lindworm now. We are now top decking, which is a bad position to be in when they have, and that Demon Bolt puts us in a worse position. Alright, we are in a bad position. Tormentor's Helm. Okay. We are in a very bad position. Because our struggle for Skemfars do not act as removals in these situations. I'm trying to think. What can we do to get out of this? Raven form. Do we have a Raven form? We have a Raven form. Alright. I do not want to be at 3 health with a Tormentor's Helm. I recognize doing blocks like this is a pathetic way and a way that's going to slowly run you out of resources. But I have a Reflections of Littjara in play, and and that would bring me to 3 health. My solution is Raven form, which means I need enough health to survive more than 3 turns after that. So we just need to hope he's top decking lands like I am. 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 7, 8 lands. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lands. So we're about equal in land drop and land loss. I'm assuming he's holding onto a land himself. Nope. That is a worm, not a giant, so he's only dealing 1 damage. If he used that first, he could have killed my creature and dealt a lot more damage. He does not have black, so he can't Skull Raid. This is unfortunate. This is what happens sometimes. This is my first play with the deck. I don't think it's bad, but he definitely had a good deck. He countered me pretty hard. He was in a good position. There was nothing I could really do. I need 2 removals now. That's definitely an issue. The struggle for Skemfar relies on us having bigger creatures, and he was just a big-bodied. His idea was to be very big-bodied. And then I just drew all lands. Yeah, if you draw 10 lands and they draw 7, then they have 3 more cards than you do to interact with. And then his cards were just bigger than mine. So I don't think this is a bad deck per se, but definitely did not work out that time. Let me think. So now that we have that issue with Struggle for Skemfar, is there a way we can fix it? Maybe just pull out... Yeah, I'm going to pull out 1 Death Knell Berserker and put in 1 of just a big guy, Karfell Candlemaster. Yeah, let's bring that guy back in. I think that's the solution. Just give ourselves 1 more big beater for when we get into those situations, and just be able to struggle. Could be an unlucky opponent. I'm going to assume that there's some issue with me as well, because there was no, like, rare that he blew me out with. This was more of, I went into attrition with him, and he won attrition, despite him not being the attrition deck. The Struggle for Skemfar worked at first, and then it just stopped working, because my creatures weren't big enough. So, if that's the case, if I lose again and I can't use my struggles properly, I am going to rip out the struggles and just try to pretend I am a tempo deck, I think, with Draugr Recruiters as my late game. Yeah. Oh, I have 2 Disdainful Strokes. Yeah. If this doesn't work out, I rip out the struggles, put in the Disdainfuls, and just basically become a fast, aggressive deck. So, right now, we try that out. At least we have a solution should I figure out that I am playing a bad deck. Because that is the thing. Realizing when you're doing something wrong is important. And I don't always do that right now. That's something I need to learn to figure out. When am I doing something wrong? Alright. Bronze. Alright. There are 4 islands in my entire deck, and I got all of them. Or I got most of them. So yeah, Gladewalker into Skemfar Avenger. If I could just get a black, I have 3 draws out of black source. This allows me the Bears of Littjara to do something destructive. We're just going to assume we don't draw many more lands, but the lands we do give us our Skemfar. Because this card is going to allow us to get a lot of card draw. This card is a big-bodied. I am 3-colored, yes. I'm splashing in blue more than anything, but like, these are all my blue lands. I have 2 other blue lands in the entire 40-card deck. I am green-black, but I drew all blue. Bada bee, bada bye. Funeral Longboat, that's perfectly fine. As expected, a struggle's in my deck. Alright, so we play the Guardian Gladewalker. We can then foretell the struggle. And this is one of the other issues. Our turn 3 is just foretelling a card or play to 2-drop. Our turn 3 is very weak, and we might need to do something to fix that. That's another issue we're facing with our deck. Alright. So if he plays even a 1/1, he can start crewing the longboat, which means I can't really attack in. Alright. So I can't really attack it. Oh, he's crewing it right now to attack. Alright, then I can attack in. No blocks. We'll kill that next. Alright. So yeah, unfortunately all we could do is foretell Struggle for Skemfar, but we cannot cast it this turn as not instant speed. That combination... Struggle is a lot weaker than I thought it was. Because it's sorcery speed, I have to basically foretell it because of how expensive it is. Yeah. Struggle is definitely not as strong as I thought it was. Explains why I got 4 in the deck. I misjudged how about that. I claimed it as absolute removal. It is not absolute in its removal. Alright. So let's start with a Struggle. See if we can get that to work. Kill off his 2/2. See if he does a trick. He did a trick, and the trick killed my character. I can't Yep, so he just killed my character. So he combat tricked me, and I am down, and I don't have any black mana, so I have to Grizzled Outrider next turn. Which, when your 2 plays are Guardian Gladewalker into Grizzled Outrider, you have an issue. There aren't supposed to be this many islands. There are 6 swamps in this deck, and only 4 islands. I got 3 of them in the starting hand. Alright. Well, he's only dealing 3 damage a turn, so we are... Once we play the Grizzled Outrider, we are kind of back in this. But we really need that swamp. Look at this. There are 6 swamps in the deck. And the moment we play 1, we only get 1. That's the hardest part, that we only get 1. But yeah, if we struggled for Skemfar, now that we have the Grizzled Outrider, it would make more sense. But these struggles are definitely not as strong as I thought they would be. By a long shot. Especially if someone has combat tricks up their sleeve like this guy does. But right now, he just has a 2/2. Alright. Oh my god. Attacks me for 5. I'm not dead yet. But if I don't get a black source, I'm basically dead. Yep, this isn't working out well. Thank goodness, Outrider. Thank goodness for the Outrider. I'm not blocking with this freaking theme. But yeah, no. We have 6 swamps in this deck. They're consistently, we should get 1 by now. We're a quarter of the way there. It's more than a quarter of our deck. Yeah, we're more than a quarter through our deck. It's over a quarter of our deck. Or it's about a quarter of our deck. Wait, hold up. Let me do the math on that real fast. Okay, there is justification why we don't have a swamp yet, but definitely unfortunate. Definitely something we have to consider, because we're supposed to get swamps more consistently. Alright, yep. Force him to only attack for that guy. Thank you, thank you. Alright. So do we start by ripping out his combat tricks, or by playing this so that if he kills another Grizzled Outrider, we have a solution? If we attack with a Grizzled Outrider, we have to leave the rest to block, basically. It's really tough. He has a Sot coming in hand. Or he has a Sot coming here. That's why he's hovering over it. Yeah, I just assumed I was going to draw a Swamp or more of my cards that cost islands. I didn't expect every card I was going to draw after Skemfar was going to be Swamp-based. I made some assumptions that were bad assumptions. I recognize that. If I attack with... We are really far behind. I need to figure out how I come back. I think it's with card draw. Let's see him saw it coming this. Alright. I'm okay losing the Skemfar Avenger for the Funeral Longbow. Don't tell me he's about to bounce my 3/1 and put me in a losing position. I definitely, yes, I recognize 3 islands was a bad play. I just said, hey, there's still lands. We have nice lands. And we do need to finish him off at some point, which is why I'm attacking in at this ridiculous situation. where you wouldn't want to attack in normally. Oh my gosh, I just realized I'm putting myself at 1 health. What am I doing? Okay, this was a misplay this turn. So that was my stupidity. So far my stupidity has been the cause of a lot of this. If he has a combat trick, I might just be dead this turn. So yeah, also the games are going long enough. I think those... Does it have trample? Hexproof and haste. Okay. Does it have trample? Oh, but I think he just taps that, crews the funeral longbow, and wins the game. He wants to attack, use the avalanche card to crew the funeral longbow. We have no way of dealing with all of this. Yep. Oh, he's just attacking with a 4/4? Oh. Alright, we kill the 3/2, and we block with 1/1 here. And we're alive at 2, but we're in a very bad position. Oh, right, it doesn't draw off itself. Other elves. And he has an Iron Verdict. Of course. Well, that's game. Well, actually, hold up. Let's see if we can rip out that card, draw a card ourselves. Yep, and that's our last play. I guess this was our mistake this time. This was our mistake this time. I'll give him a good game. We are tapped out. We have no solutions. He knows it. We know it. I'm going to let him kill us so that he can do it properly. I let people finish us off. Because who knows? I've once had a game where they disconnected at the very last moment. Alright. So, we figured out our struggle for Skemfars are not straight removal. Some people are just too big. So, at the very least, we take out 2 of these. Our weakness is 3 drops. I think a Gold Vein pick as play equip is a good 3 drop. Death Knell Berserker doesn't work as well with less battle for Skemfars, but we do have the Guardian Gladewalkers at least. 1, 2, 3... Yeah, okay, so if we rip those all out, I think that's how we have to do this, unfortunately. We have to rip out the blue. Which means... Okay, hold up. If we rip out the blue... 36... Oh, but we still need to put our lands in. So 37, 38, 39, 40. So let's look at this deck. This deck technically just tempo. It's a tempo to win basic deck. So that actually works just fine. So we want 1 more black, we want 2 more blacks, and we want 2 more greens. I'm sorry, I know some people really care about the arts. I don't really have an opinion there. Wait, so there's 8, that's 16 lands. Let's make it 17. What color do we need more of? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11 black, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, so we need 1 more green. Alright. Not the deck you'd pray for, but definitely a deck. I think this has a better chance than the previous one. Far more consistent. Far more consistent. So basically, we're not looking for it to be as strong. We're just looking for it to be consistent, because consistency is how you win the last game. When you can only live 1 life for the rest of these 7 runs that you theoretically want to get. Alright. I go first, so I could turn 1 Duskwielder. Then I could decide whether I foretell the struggle for Skemfar or the Skull Raid, depending on how his turn goes. Because here's the theme. It also depends on what I draw, because I could turn 3, play Struggle for Skemfar, foretell the Skull Raid. Or I could Skull Raid, Oh, I have Dusk Wielder. Yeah, So I'm going to play that. I'm going to attack in. Let's see if he Frostbites it. Foretell. Oh, yeah, he Frostbite it. So Foretell, I pay 2 to play it now. So here, I'll show you. So this card costs 4. But instead I'm going with Foretell, so I pay 2 mana. And now to the sideboard, as Foretell costs is 2. So next turn, I could play it for 2 instead of 4. Alright. Start Cavalry. Alright. So unfortunately, I think we have to hold off of the... We should have known we got more 2-drops, so we should have played... Well, we don't even have the greed to play Struggle for Skemfar, but here I could at least 1-for-1 with the Axgard Cavalry. I'm perfectly fine with this trade. Next turn, I could foretell... I could either play the Struggle for Skemfar if I need to drop one of his creatures, or I could play the Skull Raid and foretell the Struggle for Skemfar. Note that Skemfar actually only costs 1 after its foretell, so it actually gets a mana reduction instead of just mana splitting. Alright. Let's see. I'm trying to think through. Okay, I like this. So I'm going to Skull Raid him first. Give him less options. So if he's going to, like, Frostbite or something like that, he has to do it now. So this is just basically the Mind Rot. It just has extra abilities if they have no cards in hand, which is very valuable, because that's the main issue with Mind Rot, that they might not have cards in hand. Alright. Alright, so he just had lands. So here's the thing. Either he's really flooded on lands, in which case I'm perfectly happy swinging in, trading that, and just saying I'm going to get more. Or he is okay running on 2 lands, or either that or he's okay running on only 3 lands, in which case I want to really control him out. So either way, I'm happy with that answer. Because yeah, when you see them discard lands, that tells you a lot about their hand. Alright, Agar the Freezing Flame. Alright. So I could Coma's Faithful, I could still fight there, I could leave a 3-1 to block Agar the Freezing Flame. Whenever a creature or planeswalker opponent controls is dealt excess damage. So it has to be dealt excess. So he probably has a Frostbite or a Demon Bolt. Demon Bolt is what's in his hand. I am almost certain of it. I'm so certain of it, I'm going to play the Coma's Faithful to try to draw it out. So the idea is he'll kill the Coma's Faithful instead of the Guardian Gladewalker. So yeah, I attack it for 2. And now he's going to Demon Bolt one of them, is my guess. He's either going to Demon Bolt the Guardian Gladewalker. Because I do not... If I struggle for Skemfar and then he Demon Bolts it, I am dead on my butt. I'm so certain that's Demon Bolt, I'm just ending my turn. I'm not letting him 2-for-1 me on the struggle for Skemfar. 3-for-1 with Agar, actually. There. So certain. I was absolutely certain. If I played Struggle for Skemfar, he would kill the target, and I'd lose the Struggle for Skemfar, and I'd lose the creature. So, this is the preferable of the horrible options. Alright. So, he's only at 1 card. I do not believe this one's a removal. Wizard, it's not really Wizard, it's just knowing the format. Demon Bolt is the reason you go red, because you have that removal. He had Agar, he really wanted that card. Like, alright. So here's what I'm going to do. So now, the question is, do I trade for the Agar? Alright. So here's my theme. I think we can't really do much about the Agar. Unless we play the Karfell Countermaster and then struggle another turn. Actually, that's a really good play, now that I look at that. Doesn't look good at first, because I'm just attacking for 3, and I'm not using the Indestructible, but it puts a 4-4 in front of the Agar. So if he tries to kill it, the Demon Bolt doesn't work as effectively. Yeah, he wants to put a Giant in his hand, so he's revealing the Bergstrider. Awesome. I think I'm still going to kill the Agar, even though he's going to tap down my Karfell Kennelmaster, because I'm going to use the Notvold Recluse to block the Bergstrider. And this guy has too much value in play. So, yeah, he's going to attack me for 7, using the Axgar Cavalry. Or he's not, because he messed up, so now he's only attacking me for 5. Oh, he's still able to do that. Alright, that's fine. Alright. So I'm going to do that to make sure Agar cannot draw him additional cards. And the only card I want to attack with is the Notvold Recluse, so I'm actually going to end my turn here. This guy, I want to use him to block the Bergstrider, because I win this fight. This guy, I want to block with Guardian Gladewalker, because it's a fair trade. This is an unfair trade. And it can block the Bergstrider if necessary. So we're in a bit of a board lock right now. And if he had another Bergstrider, I wanted to make sure... Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, so what I do is I block here and block here. This only does it to a creature opponent controls at random. Doesn't work if I have no creatures. I have to double block, unfortunately. But, this is the only way I survive. And then we just draw a creature to block his Axgar Cavalry, and we put ourselves back in the ahead position. Not a big enough creature. Alright. Whew. Well, that Axgar Cavalry is actually our biggest threat we have to deal with. But yeah, we definitely are learning this format, and we played it wrong. We played it very, very wrong. Oh my gosh, that's what we were looking for. No attacks, because he can bring out a hasting creature. We'll get that Kennelmaster back in. Alright, and if he was paying attention, he now knows this is just a land in my hand. Yep, and that's why I didn't attack with the Death Knell Berserker, because I knew the Axe Guard might haste something out. Like Craven Hulk. Like, if he tapped, gave that haste, yep, right here, I have to use the Death Knell Berserker to block that. Because here's the thing, the struggle for Skemfar was our removal. That made this deck work. It turns out it was not removal in this format. We gotta get used... In the last formats, stuff like Rabid Bite was a great removal. Stuff like that Prey Upon was a great removal. Not here. Struggle for Skemfar doesn't work because there's freaking 7 mana... Like, the problem is you can't really fight with a Cinderheart Giant. You can't... You have to get big enough to fight with a Bergstrider. Like, we didn't have big enough creatures to fight. We did not have big enough creatures to fight. And that was our issue. That was the foolishness that we had in this format. Now we learned. It hurts. Oh man, does it hurt learning this way. But we learned.